Media systems in Central and Eastern Europe 3 decades after the communism, closer or farther to democracy. And our third keynote speaker will be Professor Bogusława Dobek-Ostrowska, who is a professor at the University of Wrocław. She is the founder and the first president of the Polish Communication Association. And she was also editor of Central European Journal of Communication. And right now she is co-editor of Serious Studies in Communication and Politics of Peter Lang edition. She is also a member of the Committee of Sciences on Social Communication and Media of the Polish Academy of Sciences. Professor Dobek-Ostrowska, please take the screen, right? The presentation of Professor Dobek-Ostrowska will show up in a second, I hope. Yes, and you have, I think, all the functionalities that you can change the slides on your own. I suppose that will be...
I hope it is possible. No, I cannot change it.
Okay, then I'll just ask a person to do it when you speak.
I cannot change.
Okay, that will be. Can you just try? Can someone from IT try to change the slides?
I like, but it is Paweł Fulton. No.
Yes.
It is
yeah, right. It's correct.
Okay.
Someone will be assisting you.
Yeah? Okay.
I will change the slides, but please tell me when and I go.
No, I cannot change it. Okay, so let's. The topic of my presentation is media system. What does mean media system? In my adventure with media system started with my friendship with Halina Mancini, who invited me to the common project comparing media system beyond the Western world. And after that, I decided to do some research, not only dedicated to Poland, but also Central Europe and the area. The next one. Hello. I cannot. Okay, so the media system environment. Let me start with this elements, because as you know, media system doesn't exist in the vacuum. They exist in political context, media, society context, technological, economic, and of course, media production context. But in case, next one, in case of my study, I am political scientist, so I am interested in the political context above all, because it is very, very important. Politics and political culture is the very important element of the media systems. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, the political context, it was the topic presented by Huntington in 1993 in the book dedicated to third wave of democratization, because in effect it started in Central and Eastern Europe, because in Western Europe, United States, they have democracy for a long, long time. But in effect, we were obligated to wait for the collapse of communism in 1989, and after that to build democracy, and in consequence the new media system. So if Poland, Hungary, is Germany, which now is a part of Germany, Czechoslovakia, now 2 countries, Czech Republic and Slovakia, Romania, Bulgaria. And after that, in 1919, it started with the collapse of Soviet Union. The countries changed the media system also. Next one. Media system. What about the types we can have nowadays? Let's the next one. Okay, on this slide, I like it to show you how the media system studies changed. because not a lot of specialists, not a lot of scholars who are interested in media system. But thanks to this conference, I'm really very happy because I can meet Michael Brideman. Hello, Michael, because I think that you did a lot of very important steps in the development of media systems studies. It started with Schramm, Siebert, and Peterson in 1956. And after that, we should wait about 50 years for the next study, 3 models of media system of Hallin and Mancini. And after that, the study developed quickly. The hybrid media system of Chadwick, 2012, 4 empirical types of Western media system presented in 2014 of Michael, who is with us, and other colleagues as N. Gesser, Wichel, Humphrey, and Castro. And for the first time, they presented empirical research, empirical studies. After that, I tried to show it how the media system works in Central and Eastern Europe in 2015. And after that, and the next step, I must say about the studies dedicated to Central and Eastern Europe of Castro, Humphrey, Enser, Brigeman, Bichel, etc. In 2019, I tried to show the Polish media system in a comparative perspective. And what is very important this year is Zrinka with us, and it is a new book of Zrinka, Dina Wozap, and Antonia Ciuwal. They presented and they published the book dedicated to media systems in South Eastern Europe. And also, I think that we should mention about the concept of hybridity in the journalist studies of Hallin, Mellado, and Mancini. I think that it is very important step in the development of the study. Next one. Okay, so what about the methods? I think that I tried to show the most important media system studies. And look, we started with historical political analysis, which were presented by Zippert, Peterson, and Schramm. And after that, Hallin and Mancini, they started to use comparative analysis. And after that, thanks to Brigeman, Essinger, Bichel, Humphrey, Castro, they introduced the cluster analysis and the empirical methodology. It is very, very important, okay? So we can find some level of the media systems studies. In case of Central Europe, we started with Zieber, Peterson, Schramm, and where the models were located in Soviet communist area. And after that, I showed 4 models, hybrid, liberal, politicized model, media in transition, permanent transition maybe, because I don't know what to say now about some countries in post-Yugoslavia, and authoritarian such as Russia and Belarus. And in case of your research of Michael, you presented 3 models: Northern, Central, and Southern. Okay, as thanks to your research. Okay, the next one. And the next, what does mean Central and Eastern Europe? Okay. So I think that it is very, very important to show that Central Europe is a very dynamic area of Europe, very dynamic. Look, during 30 years, it changed a lot in this region. We had 9 countries of Soviet bloc. And now we have 21 countries without Eastern Germany, which is a part of Germany. But after that, please note, we have 7 countries in post-communist in Europe and 8 in Asia. Okay, so the many countries which sometimes and very small population. Estonia, for example, it is only 1.5 million of people. Look, Latvia, look, Slovenia, 2 millions of people. Very small. So it is very difficult to do research dedicated to Macedonia, for example, or Albania, with the very small language used by a small population, and additionally without any literature, any scholar, any research. Okay, so it is really very difficult to do studies dedicated to Central and Eastern Europe. Above all, I think about the comparative studies, okay? So let's go. Okay, so I wanted to show that we have one model, Soviet communist, totalitarian, and now we have 4 models in Central and Eastern Europe, a hybrid model, politicized media in transition, permanent transition, maybe authoritarian. And Castro and others, they presented 3 models, okay? The main question, I would like to show you the main question of my presentation. The first one, in this context, how does democracy work in post-communist, post-socialist Europe? More than 30 years after the communism, after its collapse, do the mass media help consolidate democracy? And the third one, how the public media supported and still support the development of democracy? Next one. And I think that in case of Central and Eastern Europe studies, 2 areas are very important. It is politicization and commercialization. And how it work in context of Central and Eastern Europe. Okay, the next one. Hypothesis. So I use 3 hypotheses. Central and Eastern Europe is a very differentiated region, more than Western Europe, no any doubt. There are 4 groups of state and different media system: hybrid, liberal, politicized media, media in transition, authoritarian. Second hypothesis, media system in CEE reflect different types of level of political and journalistic culture, no any doubt. And the third one, it is the future of the public system broadcasting in CEE is unpredictable. A degree of political control over public TV is different in each model of media system. I think that their main problem, which we should analyze in CEE. Okay. Phases of commercialization. Because commercialization it is a problem which started to exist in Central and Eastern Europe after the collapse of communism. So it started with privatization. And after that, privatization provoked competition on the TV market, radio market, newspaper market, because it didn't exist before the collapse of communism. And ownership concentration. Economic instrumentalization is a very important element. And what is very important, it doesn't exist in such a scale in Western Europe. And in consequence, privatization, competition, ownership concentration has a visible consequence, and we can observe in content effects. It is above all tabloidization, it is infotainment, politicotainment, news sack. So it is a new things which are absolutely new element of our system. Okay. So, in generally, if we analyze the media system in Germany, in Great Britain, in United States, we can show a dominant style of news coverage. Public service broadcasting, it is party logic and media logic, okay? Bassolini presented this concept in 1987. Entrenched journalists presented by Spanish scholars. I think that it is very important in case of media system, political instrumentalization, and in consequence political bias. So it is they are elements typical for public broadcasting service. Of course, not for each one, because in Germany, Great Britain, Scandinavian countries, or for example, Italy or Spain is different one. But in the second one, it is commercial media. Commercial media, the media logic is the most important. Escapees from the political sphere, and horse race coverage, typical absolutely for the United States. Horse race coverage is described by Patterson in 1980. Okay? And how it works in Central Europe? In CEE. Okay, so what about public media system and state media? Above all, I think that very useful concept, it is entrenched journalism. Entrenched journalism. We use party and political logic, party, government pressure, ideological logic. I think that we can observe it in Croatia, in Poland, in Hungary, above all. So entrenched journalism is really very, very typical for the Central and Eastern Europe. Croatia, Bulgaria, Hungary, Poland, Romania, Slovenia, Belarus, Russia, Ukraine, of course. And maybe in the little bit not so visible way in Czech Republic, Latvia, Lithuania, and Slovakia. But what about the commercial media? Please note that in Central and Eastern Europe, we note a lot of groups from United States or from Western Europe. So if we observe Polish media system or other media system, we can observe that many owners from Germany, from Western Europe, America, they exist in the country. So the owners from outside, they rather think about escapees from politics, because it is a risk. It's better to not take part in politics, because in consequence it can limit audience. So escapees from politics, horse race coverage, it is a typical economic pressure, media logic. And we can observe it in Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Estonia, Poland. But please, one of the most important Polish TV, TVN, was very, very engaged in political process during the last month, okay? So it is interesting case. Entrenched journalism, party political logic in case of Romania, Bulgaria, Moldova, Russia, Ukraine. Entrenched journalism. So we can say that in case of Central and Eastern Europe, we have mixed party logic, ideological logic, and media logic. It works like that, okay? And Now I would like to show you some fragment of research of my colleagues from Central and Eastern Europe, which presented media system in different countries. So in Poland, we can say about Italianization, is a hybrid of polarized and liberals model, which a new elements of democratic corporatism model, but I set it about 10 years ago. Now it is different situation, which Kaczynski period. What about the Baltic states? Balczytiene says about decreasing public trust in political parties, commercialization of the press. What about the Czech Republic? Commercialization is very visible, and the journalists come ever closer to being little more than infotainment, as Wolek says. And what about the government of Andrej Babiš? Because it is a new phenomenon also, okay? Hungary, it is the next example in Central Europe. The bias is a prevalent journalistic norms, CEPOS says, and 2013, and Orban will come. Orban changed totally the media system in Hungary. So it is totally different system such as 10 years ago. What about Romania? Milewski says that Romanian journalists have no strict professional identity, but often identify themselves with political parties or politicians. What about Bulgaria? Symbiotic relation between journalists and politicians. And such as Zankova Kirill said the media in Bulgaria have been trapped by politicization and commercialization. Okay? And what about Croatia? Hello, Zrinka. I hope that you will say more about it after my presentation. But you said in 2014 that the media system exhibits very clear characteristics of the Mediterranean model. But what about today? It works like that. And Serbia. Journalists confirm their autonomy is limited by the unbreakable alliance between the state, political actors, and owners of capital. So, but please note that still media system in Central and Eastern Europe are very, very dynamic. And sometimes it is really very difficult to predict what could happen in 2 years ago. Okay? Okay, Moldova, it is a problem. What about Moldova? Milewski from Romania, she published some presentation, some article dedicated to Moldova, but no scholars who are interested, more scholars who interested this country, because politicians are media owners and journalists are future politicians in Moldavia. I think that it is very, very important sentence. Politicians are media owners and the journalists are future politicians. So no any limits, no any barrier between two groups like that. And Ukraine, advertising, propaganda, motivation in media practice. It is like that. And Russia, no any doubt that statistic commercialized media, leading journalists and media managers have been integrated into the state. The traditional patterns and character of the media, state relationship, which media still play the role of the innocent and obedient child. So I think that it is the general characteristic of media systems in the countries like that. Okay, let's next one. Now I wanted to show you the countries in Central and Eastern Europe in case of two main process of politicization and process of commercialization, in consequence tabloidization of media content. In case of politicization, no one doubt that the countries which are classified as authoritarian model, as Russia, Belarus, but also Ukraine, it isn't an authoritarian country, but the politicization is very, very strong. After that, Montenegro, Macedonia, Bulgaria, very high, Albania, Moldova, and after that, high Hungary, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, Croatia, Romania, and now Poland is quite close to this level, and medium Latvia, Lithuania, Slovenia, and relatively weak Estonia, Czech Republic, and Slovakia. And what about the commercialization? Commercialization, it is a process visible and very, very strong in Czech Republic, Slovakia, but also Romania, strong Bulgaria, Hungary, Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Russia, medium Moldova. Western Balkan states, we cannot say more because we don't have access to the research, to the publication. Ukraine is relatively medium and weak, Belarus. Okay, next one. Okay. So it is a general. I show it how it works in the model of three phases of democratization: democracy, consolidation, transition, and authoritarian regime. So it was 25 years after the communism. What about today? 30 years. It is a big change? No, Poland is rather in the group of politicized model, not liberal hybrid model still. Okay? Because I have the last minute, okay? So, hybrid liberal model, the characteristic, the country like the Czech Republic, Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, Slovakia, Slovenia, the highest democratic standards in the region, weak politicized, media are not interested in political issues, dominance of foreign media ownership, very strong commercialization, tabloidization, and low journalistic professionalism. What about the public broadcasting system? Relatively independent. Okay, the next one. In case of politicized media, Poland is now here, close to Bulgaria, Croatia, Hungary, Romania, and Serbia. And what about the characteristic? Low democratic standards, high politicization of public broadcasting service, political control over public broadcasting media, significant position of foreign media ownership, and commercialization and tabloidization of private media, low journalistic professionalism. So public media under control or ruling party. Okay, the next one. Media still in transition, because we cannot predict now. What about Albania, Bosnia, Herzegovina, North Macedonia, Moldova, Montenegro, Ukraine? Still in transition to democracy, poverty of society, strong politicization, strong, rather limited foreign ownership, very low journalistic professionalism. What it is? State-owned? We don't know, because public media such as that doesn't exist. Okay? And authoritarian model. Russia and Belarus, extremely high media politicization, media as an instrument of political power, the ruling elites, strong political propaganda, poverty of society, public media system doesn't exist, they are state media. Okay? And conclusion, I know that all are waiting for conclusion for the last words, okay? And look, what about the hypothesis? Yes, media in Central and Eastern Europe are very differentiated region. They are different models, different media system. Media in this region reflect different types of level of political or journalistic culture, no any doubt. And future of the public media in Central and Eastern Europe is unpredictable. A degree of political control over public TV is different in each model of media system. So we can say about party colonization, okay? And, okay, The next one. I wanted to show you the democracy indexes 1 year ago and this year, okay? In case of Central and Eastern Europe, we don't have any full democracy. If we look for the Latin America, for example, yes, we have full democracy, but not in Central Europe. Estonia has the best position, but they are only flowered democracy. Flowered democracy, it was 12, now it is 13, because Albania, and after that, we have hybrid regime 9 and 7 countries classified as authoritarian. And what about the 2021? Okay. The next one. Okay, so look, it is you could compare. We have one country more classified as flowered democracy. It is Albania, and in consequence we have 8 hybrid regime and 7 authoritarian regime in the whole Central and Eastern Europe, because according to the democracy index, all the part after the collapse, after the Soviet Union, is classified as Central and Eastern Europe. Okay. Okay. So, political context. Democracy cannot exist without the free media, and no doubt. We should think about the free media in the system of in Central and Eastern Europe, to build the free media. If not, it is very difficult. Okay, so do we need empirical comparative studies? Yes, absolutely yes. But all time, I think that it is content analysis of traditional public and private media, content analysis of social media. It is a new, absolutely new perspective. We cannot analyze media, traditional media, without social media now. Interview with journalists and owners of media, cluster analysis, and comparative analysis. International research teams are very, very important in the countries of the new democracies of the third wave in Europe, Asia, Latin America, and Africa. I think that it is a future for this part of the study. Okay. We started to do comparative analysis in project with Gunnar Nygren. After that, we presented Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Lithuania, Poland, Russia, and Serbia. I tried to show the Poland in the perspective, in the Polish, in the comparative perspective, but because I think that it is important. And the next step. Okay, so my congratulations. I think that it is very, very important what Zrinka with the group did, comparing post-socialist media system case of Southern Europe, because it is very, very important step in these studies. And what Václav Stetka with Sabina Michej and other colleagues they did in Labour University, rebuilding trust and countering polarization in post-pandemic time. And I think that it is also a very important step in this study. Okay, thank you. So thank you very much for your attention. If you have a question, if you have a suggestion, welcome. It is my mail address, and I will be very happy to be in contact with you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.